and welcome back to Love Your Food. This week we're going back to dessert. We've got a beautiful recipe. We're showing you the buttercream icing on these cupcakes. We're actually going to show you the cupcakes next week. But this is a very simple, basic buttercream icing recipe. You can flavor this however you like. And let's just get started. We're going to show you our ingredients here. Buttercream is fairly simple. It starts with butter and powdered sugar. And we're going to flavor this with, it's like Bailey's. It comes from a distillery here in Ontario, and it's called Chantilly. It's really quite delicious. So we're going to start with our butter. We're going to get that into our mixing bowl here. You want to make sure that your butter is at least a little bit warm. Room temperature is fine. And we're going to cream it. We're going to make sure it's nice and soft and fluffy before we do anything else to it. So we are going to make sure that our mixer is plugged in. And then we're just going to get it started. Now, if it's a little bit cold, it's likely to stick to your paddle. So you can start by making sure it's not stuck to everything. And just scrape it off. So essentially, we're just going to keep this in the mixing bowl. We're just going to let it mix until it gets nice and soft. If you need to warm up your mixing bowl a little bit with your hands, that is fine too. So there you go. This is about as fluffy as you're going to get it. Just make sure periodically that you scrape down the sides as you're getting it there. You can see it's nice and soft, really fluffy at this point. Very, very easy to get to this point. You can do this by hand as well. Of course, it's going to take a lot more work. You can also use like a handheld mixer as well. That will be just fine. You can use your beaters, whatever you have on hand. So once you're at that point, we're going to add our sugar, and we're just going to add it all at the same time. We're using a spoon because it's a little less messy. Powdered sugar does tend to make big clouds if you move it around too much. So we're just going to be very, very gentle. You're going to get it into our mixing bowl here with our butter. And there we go. That's all of our sugar in there. And then we're just going to start it with a pulse. Again, because it can be very, very fluffy. It can make big clouds. We're just going to start it very gently with a few pulses until you start to see sort of a grainy texture as it mixes with that softened butter. So once it looks like it's not going to be exploding out of there in big fluffy clouds of sugar, then you can turn up the speed a little bit and let that butter mix with that sugar. So eventually you're going to get to about this point. Now here's where we're going to add our alcohol. So we're going to add a tablespoon at a time. And every once in a while you're going to want to stop, scrape down the sides, just stir up the bottom, make sure that everything's mixed up properly. We ended up doing that 4 times. We added 4 tablespoons. Do keep an eye on the consistency and make sure you're getting to where you want. This is about where we want it. So this was after 4 tablespoons of that beautiful Chantilly cream. And that's about the consistency we want. And that's pretty much it, honestly, as far as where this recipe is going to go. We want it to be nice and fluffy, really nice and pliable. And get it all scraped off of that paddle. So you can see the texture here. It's still good and stiff, but it's pliable, it's soft, it's fluffy, and it pipes very easily at that point. So you can see here, we're going to do the recipe for the cupcakes next week. You're going to get that one soon. And that's it. That's this buttercream icing. Again, you can flavor that however you like. It's super simple. Alcohol makes a great flavoring. You can use Grand Marnier for orange, Amaretto for almond, anything you like. If you like this recipe, please do like and subscribe. And if you'd like to see Chef Caleb try something on this channel, please let us know in the comments below. And remember to love your food.